these included groups like the Druze, the Tahimahudu. There were Islamic sects that were mystical in nature. Now we refer to them as Sufi. There were Druid traditions, and there were traditions within Lebanon that were really inheritors of Phoenician traditions and Canaanite traditions. And in their associations with these groups, and in their travels in Egypt, there was one thing that they found amongst them all that was secretly being passed down, and it was the science that we now refer to as alchemy. And we know now, especially you find this in Egypt, at places like Abydos, where the templars set up headquarters, set up Dendera, and Edfu, and a number of different places in Egypt. But particularly at Abydos, and even at Luxor itself, in Karnak, there are depictions of alchemical processes. And in particular, there's depictions of these arcs and there's depictions of the mana. That mana putting in there was the catalyst for the artwork. And this mana had to be made alchemically. When it was produced, where does it come from? Well, it comes from just about everything. You have to be able to calcinate it down and extract it out of the ashes. We're going to pour that ashy lye into this to filter. Make sure the pH is nice and high. I'm going to add acid to it. I'm taking something from above 12 and we're dropping it down. As you can see, there's stuff starting to form. We're going to do this 8 times just to clean it. So it becomes this self-contained atom that it becomes completely captured in this environment with vapor. And this was the mana. You could also convert certain platinum metals into mana, which we believe this is really what Moses was doing when he burned the golden calf, which was white powder. Garage door. That's an allegorical reference to the alchemical science that he was performing that had to be veiled. Absolutely. And we see this depiction on the Egyptian temple walls as well, where the pharaoh was being fed these cakes that looked like they were cone shaped. And they're usually depicted right next to these art boxes. And they're being fed to the pharaoh with this special food that kept them healthy, and that they were being stored in these arks, which generated electricity. But let's go back for a second. I want to understand exactly. How does mana work inside the ark to create this power cell? So what this mana is, it's platinum metals that are in a monoatomic state. So what that means is each atom doesn't bind the other atoms. And it does this because it's in a high spin state. It's known as a high spin state. The two outer electrons and the atom enter into what's known as a Cooper pair. And when they do that, they go into this high spin state. They're completely captured by the nucleus of the atom, and they don't bind with the other atoms like they normally do. When this happens, they enter into a superconductive state. And it just so happens that when you have a container full of mana, these monoatomic atoms that you subject to a very weak electrostatic or electromagnetic field, spark if you will, the spark, it ends up causing the container filled with mana to weigh less than the same container filled with nothing. So there's a anti-gravity effect, a levitation effect. And this is the reason why these arcs in the Bible is guarded by the Levites, from which we get the word Levitation later on, and that 2 Levites could carry these arcs with rods, even though the amount of gold and acacia wood that was put into building these arcs would have caused the ark to weigh several tons. The 2 people could carry it as long as it had a charge and as long as these monoatomic atoms, this mana was inside it. Okay, so what you're saying is they basically had the ability with man, when it was supercharged, to cause things to levitate. Could this be the secret to the massive megalithic blocks that we find all over the world that have been cut and placed, and seemingly it is impossible that any humans with the technology that we thought they had in the distant past actually could have been moved this way? Yeah, we think so. In fact, it's even possible that they may have just taken one of these arcs, bound it to the stone, and then that helped to cause the weightlessness of the stone itself. So at that point, then they could move the stones any way they needed to. As the Templars started discovering these things and figuring how it would work, they realized this was a technology that it was godlike power. So they knew if these fell into the wrong hands, they could be abused. And so at this point, the Templars had a strong mission to move these arcs and these other artifacts out of the areas of Jerusalem, of Egypt, and other areas, move them through Lebanon, places like Portugal, France, ultimately Scotland, and then from there, move it on over to the Americas, which they had, of course, by this point, they'd already been mapping and knew about. They knew all about. Well, let's just talk about the elephant in the room to this whole plan that the Templars had, and that's the Roman Catholic Church, right? And it brings to mind their strategy was something analogous to keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. And I think really that's exactly what was going on, at least with the Templar leadership. And by aligning with the church and giving them the impression that they were on their side was what allowed them to have the freedom that they did to round this stuff up with the ultimate plan of bringing it to North America. And I agree with you, I think that's exactly what was going on. And the Templars would throw the church a vote. Every once in a while, the Templars were responsible for starting to build the cathedrals, right, for the church. But even on the cathedrals, they tried to carve and preserve this information, much like the Egyptians had done in earlier times. So even to this day, there's Pythagorean concepts, Gnostic concepts, alchemical information. You go to the front doors of Notre Dame Cathedral, for example, there's a series of plate medallions that show all the stages of the alchemical process. This is part of what the Templars were trying to preserve. They also brought over iconography. For example, the Templar headquarters at Philae in Egypt was a temple of Isis. And in this temple of Isis, not only on the temple walls, but also on the altars, there were these black basalt statues of the goddess Isis nursing the young child Horus, which is identical to images of Mother Mary nursing Jesus. That's exactly right. So the Templars brought that iconography over, they gave it a new facelift, and to preserve the memory of it, they carved what would become known as the Black Madonnas, which were these same iconography but painted black, so they looked like the statues of Egypt, and placed them in the crypts under the cathedrals that they were building. So Tim, here's what I think we have. We go back to the time of the Younger Dryas period. Prior to that, we had a high culture that exists that preserved ancient knowledge just in case something happened. And I don't think it was just in case. I think they knew something catastrophic was coming. I think go back to the Tebby being covered up is a powerful piece of evidence to support that. And so they preserved this information, and the survivors of that moved on. And eventually, the tradition, the Templar tradition, starting around the year 1000 or just after, acquired this knowledge, knew that they had to form a Templar order that would go in and align with the Roman Church, go into Jerusalem, round up the stuff that they needed, find that old hidden knowledge and information technology that was left by the Atlanteans, take that knowledge, use it to acquire the strength, the power to eventually bring it over to North America. Is that a decent synopsis? Not only that, but they wanted to reestablish the Atlantean tradition in order to recreate what had once been and had been lost, but now had been found. So really, Francis Bacon was a Catholic, and that whole book that he wrote was specifically an outline to read of these technologies that had been discovered by the temple. So Francis Bacon, he was in on the secret, wasn't he? He was, yeah. And so what that means is the United States of America is the new Atlantis. Absolutely. I'm Scott Wolf, and I'm Timothy Hogan. And thanks for watching this you can start messing around with ideas that people are comfortable with in the past. It's been kind of dangerous. Yeah. The history of the Templars is pretty crazy. You guys got persecuted. The first of all, how are you associated? So I'm the Grey Master. I'm the Grey Master of the Order.
towels for them, and a sparkling pool of toys.
Everybody, see you next summer.
Sue was gonna do a little cleaning up of her own, and at the top of her list, get rid of her brother.
Apple, that's my rope.
Oh, all right.
Oh, don't take it off. Oh, what are you doing here?
Oh, wait for us to get back to the college class. We're going to go out or something. Oh, never mind. That thing was really racist. It's my ear. The water was one is trash.
Look, I think I was very cool about you being my best friend. But I didn't know you that you be here all the time, even when she is not here.
Our dad is not paying rent. That's his dad is. So the next month, that's the gift. And the next 2 months, we'll do it. So that's your dad wants me to have.
You can't take it anymore.
Oh my God, Sue! Back in the old days, they used to live with their siblings and their grandparents and multiple generations. You should embrace this and treat this as the eldest son. I couldn't hear the office go easy for a couple of good things to be on. You should thank me for what you say. What's one? Give your reference back to it.
Oh, no more. Put that drink on a coaster. Axel,
Seriously, you can have this back to you.
how did your ears pass?
Well, Charlie's grandma.
That's not my fault. Everything's car doesn't come back anymore.
Since you're both here, I believe you noticed, we know a electrocution machine. Now, there is a signing clipboard to reserve time, I just ask that everyone respects the schedule, but that we all get a chance to enjoy it, and please no food or drink in the machine.
The only reason we're both here is because Axel decided to follow me home to torture me.
Actually, how about you? Got a speed review, man. The Orson Food